How are you? This is Gritty Astro. Yeah, with some music, man. Welcome, you guys. I'm going to my live to see who of you are there. Hello, everyone. This is Gritty Astro talking to you right now from South America. Let's see. Great song. Let's see, two watching. Hello, you too. Can you hear me okay? Yep. Okay. Hello, everyone. Two people watching. Who are you? Martin, can explain why there so few people here? Exactly, Martin. Why are there so few people here, Martin? That's a very good question. Can explain. Well, I mean, maybe it's going to be just you and me, Martin. I mean, and we like this music, so maybe we can just survive this chat, just you and me, and whoever else is out there. There's two people watching. So yeah, hello everyone. I'm going to wait until to see if any other people just want to come on in. So that's cool. Love talking about music. Yeah, so I mean, if nobody else comes up, Martin, it's going to be just you and me and the other person watching. I don't know who that is. So if the other person watching of my two people out the audience, the other person who is not Martin want to say hello, say hello. I mean, it's all fine here. I don't bite. And yeah, Martin. So today was they played it on the radio. Can explain by the Who, and it's just the Who. It ties up really nicely with the guy from the BBC right now. And it's quite funny, isn't it? And it's also funny because, like I said, today, just this morning, they played it on the radio. And, I always listen to radio. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is just go to the kitchen to make myself a nice hot yerba mate. And, of course, the very first thing, before even before putting the kettle on, I think I just turn on the radio. So if it's you, just you, Martin, that, and I'm seeing that it is just you now, and there is like a mystery person there. So Martin says, I rarely watch TV, but even I've heard of him. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't watch BBC because I don't watch TV either at all. I just don't watch TV, but because we are all now in the social media platforms, it's like, yeah, we get the news, and if we listen to the radio, I don't know about you, Martin, but I just put on a special radio. I have like 3 special radios, that I have. Well, actually, it's just 2 and maybe 3. The first one is one where is the first that I go to every morning. It's a local radio from here, from this part of the River Plate coast, and it's local to this county, so to speak, and they really play really good music. Sometimes not, but all in all, they sometimes they just do a Pink Floyd, the classics, and really good music from here, from Latin America. And yeah, so today's I just put the radio, and then after a while, the Who Can Explain came on, and I say, wow. And of course, when a really good song comes up, I just turn the volume up, So I'm really, really, it's really weird, Martin, and the other phantom person there watching. It's really weird. Is it because it's a special day today? I don't know. But it's a Thursday. It's in the right time. But, and the last one, the last live I did when I announced that I was no longer was going to speak about Nicola, about her case, about the inquest. Maybe, I mean, even though I announced that, it was a really good live, for someone who is not known really. I'm just a tiny new channel, and I'm a girl from South America, So yeah. Now it's 3 people watching. Hello, everyone. Whoever you are, make yourselves known. Martin, of course, is here. Martin says, good to have a decent local radio. I listen in to 5 Live sometimes here. Yeah, 5 Live. Oh, yeah, I don't know about those. I mean, because, of course, they are from UK. I remember when I was in England, I used to listen there was one BBC radio, I think it was Radio 2, I don't remember really, it was so long ago. They really, I mean, obviously they played the hits, but it was more like, I mean, you could have decent music from the time, but you didn't get, the Who Can Explain. I mean, you don't get that unless it's a really local radio, right? Hello, Val. Hola, Valerie. ¿Cómo estás? Val Clark, what's that? Yeah, you're the one from Spain, aren't you, Val? I mean, just, if you care, it will really help me if you actually engage in the chat. Hello. Even if it's just 3 people watching now. Otherwise, I'm just talking to the void, which, I don't mind, but, it's kind of like, what's the purpose, right? If there's no one there. So, hola, Val, ¿cómo estás, Val? The chat is a little bit delayed. From what I'm seeing, I'm getting the chat. I'm going to put, because I have to put live chat. Oh, you bastards. Okay, hello everyone. Hello, y'all. Yay, all 3 of you. So there's Martin, and there's Val. Martin, it's like for, he's one of the ones, earlier ones. Even though I'm a really new channel, I have been, some months since the Nikki Bully case. And then Val, mi amiga española, if you're listening, si estás escuchando, Val, te mando un beso enorme, Val. Yeah, so, and then, it's like, I was saying that just 3 people watching. It's like, the other day when I made the announcement that I wasn't going to necessarily talk about Nikki Bully anymore, it was a really good live, and there weren't as much people as before, but there were a good strong 10 people watching, and it was a nice chat. But today it's like, what? Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just it, I mean, from what I have gathered, because when I get into something, I like to read about it, because I don't like to be a total ignoramus, I like to know what I'm getting into. And I read that at first it can be really difficult to get viewers, but it's really weird, because before it's like, okay, while I was talking about Nicola Bully, I think it's about the hashtag. It's because I put Nikki Bully. I used to put Nicola Bully in the hashtags, to because I was going to talk about her or touch upon her case. But now that I'm not going to necessarily talk about Nikki all the time, because I've reached my conclusion, as I've said in the previous live, I'm not those kinds of people who squeeze something to death, I have respect for Nikki, and I've reached my conclusion, and I'm not the kind of person that just like milks it just until death, I don't like doing that. I think it will be like disrespectful for Nikki, and I think that I'm going to, I just given my conclusion the day before and the other days before, reading the inquest, and then that's it, when I am again inspired to talk about something specific about Nikki, or I'm feeling like Nikki wants to be remembered, and I will remember her on this, on this channel, if this channel makes it, because there's just 3 people watching now, and it's like, okay, is it about the hashtags? Is it because it doesn't say Nicola Bully? Is it because it says, I don't know, Manson family? What the fuck? I mean, I really don't get it. Martin says, I think the notification system is hit and miss on YouTube. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, because, I'm new to this. I'm totally new. And Val says, I think everyone knows she was murdered. Yeah, I mean, of course, everyone knows. I think the people who think she wasn't murdered are the ones who either don't know very much about the case, haven't really investigated the case, or don't have such a sharp instinct, and the people, of course, I mean, those are the people who I think, or maybe some people just say, okay, she wasn't murdered because it makes sense, but when you really look into the case, it doesn't actually make sense. So I think something happened to her, okay? But I've reached my conclusion, so I'm not going to talk about her, not necessarily, okay? I'm going to pick up other topics. We discussed the on the live before this one. What topics did you want to? And there was a nice list, and now it's just 3 people watching. I mean, I don't get it. And I did announce it by posting, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because I put BBC as a hashtag, and the BBC doesn't want me, these elite people don't want me like being, seen. I don't know. Maybe it's about the hashtags. Martin says there's little more to say regarding Nikki unless the petition gets taken up. Exactly. I mean, we've all, hopefully we've all have signed the petition to further investigate Nikki's case. So that's the only thing we can do now, okay? I don't want to milk her story to the end, to death. That's what I mean. Because I think it's in bad taste, and it's disrespectful to Nikki. I don't give a shit about Paul, or, her parents, or her so-called friends. I only care about Nikki and her children. That's it, and maybe the people who really, really love her, but I don't know who that is really, okay? So we have just 3 people watching, so I think it's about the hashtags, and I think it's about like Martin says, the notification system is hit and miss. Yeah, but I think it's the hashtags, because the Manson thing, I put in the hashtags, I put Manson because Leslie Van Houten, the notorious, infamous murderer in the La Bianca murders, of the family Manson, murders, she's been released on bail. She's being released on bail. Let me pick it up. Leslie Van Houten. What do you think, Martin? Should I go on, or should I just close this channel? What do you think? Leslie Van Houten. Because, yeah, Oh my god, yeah, she was Leslie. Yep, she should be paroled. No, let's see. News, Jesus, where the fucking news? News. Okay, news here. Um, BBC one day ago, ex-Manson follower Leslie Van Houten. She wasn't just a follower; she was a murderer. Okay, she actively participated in the murders of the La Bianca murders. Okay, who were the murders that happened the day after the Sharon Tate murders. She wasn't a follower. She was a murderer and a follower, of course. Hello, Val, amiga mia. I cannot understand why her parents don't want to know the truth, unless they already know the truth. Well, you know, I have thought long, hard about that. I really have. I have been on this case, the Nikki Bully case. I've been on it almost since the beginning, and from the very very beginning, like from the 3 days after, 2 days after, I think was the Monday, and I've been investigating it. Gathering lots and lots of information, factual information, then also like theoretical information, and esoteric information, right? Because I work in the esoteric realms as well. I get information from there as well. But I have been investigating everything about her case, and yeah, I mean, I reached my conclusion. Yeah, I think I have reached the conclusion that her parents know what happened. um, yeah, because the chat is really delayed here. I just want to tell to the two people watching now, just Val and Martin, the chat that I see on my PC, because I'm streaming from my phone, but then I have to see the actual chat on my old PC, and maybe it's because it's old. It's not that quick, to relay the information real time. So I'm talking about something, and someone is responding something that I had already talked about. So it's getting a little bit mixed up, but I'm going to keep going. I mean, as long as I have a person listening to me actively, like two people watching now, as long as I have just one, like you, Martin, but I'm not saying just stay. If you don't want to stay, don't stay. It's up to you guys. But I mean, if I'm down to just one person listening to me, I will go on, okay? But of course, it's not going to be as fun, as the other. So it's kind of weird. So I'm going to keep on, waffling, and to tell Val, mi amiga Val. Is it short for Valerie? Anyway, I know. I think personally, I think that Nikki's parents know what happened. I think everybody knows what happened. Paul knows what happened. Penny Lane and company knows what happened. Everybody in town knows what happened. But they're not going to. They are not talking because maybe there's something bigger behind it. Like I said in many other posts before that I did about Nikki's case, I said this is bigger than Nikki. I don't think it was just about Nikki. I think it was more about other stuff like dirty dealings, whatever. Sometimes I think it was just like like a femicide, like when a partner murders his partner, domestic violence. Sometimes I think it might be that, but because everybody is shutting their mouths, that is why I always thought that you know that her case was beyond Nikki. Nikki was the one who paid the price, if that's the correct scenario, okay? If it's just domestic violence, of course you pay the price for being with the wrong person and not leaving sooner. Or maybe and not being, yeah, I mean, she should have lived sooner. I mean, but it's very difficult when you are in a domestic violence situation is very difficult to live. It's proven, that's the case. So yeah, Martin says, um, carry on, Gritty. She's being paroled. I have left her in jail indefinitely. Me too, Martin. I mean, um, that's what I was going to get to. I know we are seeing her mug here, uh, but I think it's like funny in a way. It's like dark humor, and I'm very into dark humor. Well, up to a point, right? Yeah, she's being paroled, and she's going free. And that's quite a big thing, I think, for the people. First, because the Manson family case, the Manson murders, quote unquote Manson murders case, was huge, and still is huge. I mean, many people still follow and dig into this case, and many books have been written about this, about the Manson murders, about the people, the different members of the Manson family. It's a huge case, and it has become like legend, like legendary, infamous case. So yeah, I also hope, Martin, that I wish Leslie. I think she should have been. She just should have done life in prison, because she wasn't just a follower; she was an accomplice to murder, if not murder. Okay. She was a willful accomplice to murder, brutal murder. Um, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Martin says, haha, there's a delay of about 20 seconds. Yes, exactly. You see, there's a delay. Yeah. I think that's because I am very far away, like thousands of miles away, literally. I'm sure that if I was in the UK, it will be like really quick. I think it's because of the connections. I mean, it's transatlantic, man. It's transatlantic. So 3 people watching now. Yay! So as long as there's even 4 people watching now, hello 4. There's a delay of 20 minutes with the chat, so bear with me. This is Gritty Astro, and yeah, I'm making a live today, and was just touching on Leslie Van Houten being paroled. Also, I was going to touch, on whatever you guys are saying about Nikki, that they all knew what happened to her, but nobody's talking. And I think this is bigger than Nikki, or this is a domestic violence case. And but Nikki deserves to rest for a little bit, and so do we, and also because it's not in good taste for me personally. It's not in good taste to milk a a case. When you have reached your conclusion, that's it. You have to stop and go on to other things. And then when new evidence or new inspiration comes your way, you pick the case again. Okay. And so now I'm talking about Leslie Van Houten being released, being paroled, the notorious murderer of the Manson family. So for people who like true crime like myself, this is an interesting news. Okay. Yep. So 2 people watching now. So yeah, I mean, it's just really weird. It's kind of weird because the other day it was really fine, but now it's like, maybe if I don't put Nikki Bully, nobody sees my videos, which is really, it's kind of discouraging in a way, because and at the same time it's like, okay, whatever. I mean, you can't force things. I don't like forcing things. I can talk about them, but if it's not meant to happen, it won't happen. If it is meant to happen, it will happen. At least that's my experience with this kind of things. So I'm just, maybe people I put off by Leslie Van Houten's mug, an interview. So I mean, if you're put out or put off by either the hashtag or the the loop, the video loop you're seeing right now on your screen of Leslie Van Houten, if you're put off by that, well, I'm sorry, but that's it, right? Um, I find it really funny in a dark humor sense. So yeah, I mean, just feel free to 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 pop in chat, Um, but four people watching now. It's like, yeah, it's like a slow. What is this? Like a bulb? I don't know. It's like a old bulb amplifier. Guitar amplifier, Martin. It's like it's like an old bulb car or something. It's really, it takes a long time to take off. And yeah, I mean, I'm talking about lots of things today. The Manson family, Leslie Van Houten is being paroled. It's a huge news for people who have followed the case for forever. Um, yeah, Martin. Yep, Bob amplifier. Exactly, Martin. It's like a. Do you have one of those? Oh my God. My my uncle, my one of my friends also, they have like bulb amplifier, like a proper one from the 70s, and it's like Jesus. I mean, the sound is like wow. It's like really like alive, and it's like raw, alive. It's very gritty as well, and it's also a beautiful sound. But bulbs they have to heat up, don't they, Martin? So yeah, my show is like this. It's like one people watching, two people watching, then it goes to five people watching, there, three people watching. So yeah, whatever. So yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, I can only babble now because the point of this is just having a conversation with you guys. So when there's only just three people watching, I feel like I'm on a radio show and I'm the presenter, like the. So speaking about BBC presenters, I feel like someone who presents, who speaks, who does a podcast, and people are just there hearing, listening or not, and it's not up to me, and I just have to keep on babbling. But I think that people on radio, at least they get paid, well, unless you are on a pirate radio and you just do it for the love of the art, I'm still trying, I'm not fully decided if I'm going to keep on with this, because even though it has been wonderful, the last one was wonderful, but because now I don't have the Nikki Bully hashtag, it's like just three people watching me now. It's like, okay, so I mean, I have 230 something or so subscribers, and where are all those people? I mean, it's like maybe YouTube is just screwing with me. I don't know what's happening, but it's either strange or really like, okay, this is not worth it, And I'm not being negative, I'm just being a realist. You know, I just have a very artistic sense in my life. Um, you know, I have always had an artistic temperament. I just do things like I don't like formal things. I don't like rules. I like to I'm independent, Um, if I work, of course, I work from home. I work on my projects. Like I said, I'm a tarot reader, and amongst other things, but I work from home, so I don't like going to an office to be with people I can't stand. So that's the truth, So I'm very independent, and also, even though I like this project, the Gritty Astro project, that came out of nowhere, I didn't plan on it. It was because it was thanks to Nikki Bully, actually, like I said before, that I started just talking here online, So, three people watch, I'm going to just, talk about whatever. And if you want to pop in chat, you're very welcome. Used to tour using amps. You talk about stuff that interests you, Gritty. You always have interesting things to say. Well, yes, Martin, that's true. But I mean, there's only three people watching now. Is it worth it, do you think? I mean, I'm going to honor this chat because I'm an honorable person. And I'm going to honor this chat. I always try to be honest with you guys. That's the way I am. So if there are people watching, even if it's just one, if it's just you, Martin, I'm going to keep going with the chat, with the podcast, until my brain says okay, or my instinct says okay, stop. Okay, I'm going to keep doing it. Okay, so yeah. But Martin, because this is so new to me, do you get it? I mean, I started this channel, like just something like whatever, just to have a channel because I wanted, on the first times I did this channel, I wanted to talk about astrology and all the great esoteric stuff that I love to talk about. But it was during the pandemic when many of us started creating projects out of the blue, because we needed to be doing something creative. Otherwise, we would go mad because of the lockdown, etc., etc. Right? So I created this channel in the middle of the lockdown. Okay, 2021, right? It was the worst year of the pandemic or whatever. And I created a channel because I wanted to just to have an outlet, okay? Just in case I needed an outlet to express myself, to whatever, okay? Because of the lockdown. But then I just forgot about it because, life keeps on, and it just didn't really, it really didn't catch my attention. I didn't feel that it was really that interesting for me. Uh, Three people watching. Hello, three, whoever you are. I know, Martin, you're there, but whoever you are, you're very welcome into this show, the Gritty Show, which, by the way, I don't know how much it's going to last. Martin says, "Yep, I get it. You are esoteric or Your Martin says, "Yep, I get it. Your esoteric analysis is really interesting. Thank you." Um, I like, because everything has an esoteric side to things. Okay, the way I see them, because the way I am trained genetically, from my great grandmother, I have that connection to the unseen world. So I always see, like, with a person, when an event, a crime, whatever, whatever happening, and whoever, there's always an esoteric side to that person, to that event, okay, to that place. For everything that has an exoteric, like an outer reading, explanation, description, there's always, for that, there's always the esoteric meaning as well, the subtle, the unconscious, so everything has an esoteric side. That is, everything has a shadow side, like a, like a hidden side that is not visible. And for me, it's like really, really, it's fascinating. I mean, I have been almost, all my life studying, and practicing. And yeah, for example, it's not necessarily the shadow, the dark side, the esoteric side, but it is the hidden side. Okay, the hidden side doesn't mean negative or like dark, like evil. Esoteric doesn't mean that. It just means under, like sub, like hidden. Okay, everything has its esoteric side, esoteric description, explanation to it. Okay, three people watching. So yeah, so three people are really digging my words here, man. So this is the Gritty Radio. Okay, this is like a radio, and there are just three people tuning into this radio, and that's fine. Okay, so for example, the let's touch the I'm not going to talk about Nikki again, because if people are just coming here just to speak about Nicola once more, it's like no. I'm going to speak about her when I do. I'm not going to compromise myself, okay? So the true people who really like what I'm talk about, those are the ones who are right now 3 people watching. So that's fine. Maybe it's just the YouTuber as well, but yeah. So I'm going to talk, for example, remember Martin, like I said the live before, we were talking about the dark side of the 60s. Do you remember that, Martin? That I think Debbie, I don't know where Debbie is. I mean, Debbie knew I was going live and she's not here. Where are you, Debbie? I hope Deb comes on. She's always here. And Unity, where's Unity? Maybe it's just a Thursday, I don't know. But yeah, the dark side of the 60s, for example, has many, no, to the bright side, because we know the bright side of the 60s, the flower power, dancing, the free love, the drugs, the psychedelics, the music. Oh my God, the best music ever comes from the 60s, uh, for me anyway, apart from classical music, right? And yeah, it's such a creative, decade. One of the best bands, the best bands of rock and roll came out on the 60s or late 60s. uh, it was a revolution where people were actually like Timothy Timothy Leary had said. His motto was turn on, tune in, and drop out. That was like, yeah, I mean, let's get out away from the system. Let's fuck the system. Let's just get out of the matrix, right? It was that kind of vibe, but also of communal love and understanding and peace and transcending uh, this transcending this society that we are living in, especially in the 60s. They were coming from the 50s, so it was something that had to happen. It was like an explosion of freedom but also, all that beautiful flower power thing has a very dark side to it as well, okay? And one of the dark sides was the Manson family phenomenon, which is not the only one, by the way, okay? It's not the only one. Let's see. Hello, Unity. Yay! I was calling for you. I was saying, where is Unity? Where is Unity? Where is Debbie? Hello, Unity. I'm very, very happy to have you here. And Martin, and Val was here. So I'm glad you're still here. Unity says we are recording a song, but you are our break. Okay, so what kind of song are you recording, Unity? Tell me. It's like, what kind of music did you make? Sorry. Yeah. So I'm glad you're recording music. I mean, and I forget that it's summer over there, so maybe you guys are just on holiday or whatever, right? So yeah, so I was talking about the dark side of the 60s, Unity. Not everything was flower, love, hippies, and no, there was a dark side as well. And an example, it's the Manson family, okay? It's a phenomenon, I think, from those times, even though cults are from, cults are universal, as in, but they had like a big spike in the 60s and the 70s, okay, and the 80s, right? And there are many type of cults, so yeah, I mean, as long as there is a leader and people who follow him or her, that could be a cult if it turns nasty, evil, twisted, when people lose their personalities, where people lose their liberties, where your leader is a tyrant, right? Yeah, I mean, that's a cult. So there are many types of cults, and there are cults everywhere and anytime, but the dark side in the dark side of the 60s, because Leslie Van Houten, one of the murderers of the Manson family, is being paroled. Okay, so she's going free, right? So I wanted to talk about her, touch on, I mean, not just on her. I mean, I don't really give a shit about her because I think she's an evil person, but it's very interesting as a phenomenon, and in the context of the Manson family, right, and the phenomenon of the dark side of the 60s. So she's been in prison for 53 years. Yep, so I'm going to go. Why do they say follower? I mean, she was a murderer. I mean, the papers are funny, aren't they? So now Leslie's a good girl. I don't think so. I mean, I have researched the Manson affair quite a lot. And yeah, I mean, she's no angel. But should someone be, you know, in prison for all of their lives? I think yes. In some cases, yes. And this person, Leslie, she doesn't fool me. I think she's a sociopath. I don't think she has any. I think she's like a shell of a person. Every time you see her talking, speaking in interviews, I mean, you just see that. I mean, I see that she's not there. And if you see this one, this video loop that I have here on screen, she's always like smiling and even laughing, and she doesn't give a shit about what happened. Okay, she's a sociopath, or maybe it's just she's too broken. Of course, these people are broken, but that doesn't mean that you get to do those atrocities and just go free, right? Personally, I mean, from the murder point of view, and what she did and who she associated with, and the fact that she was an accomplice in the murders, in the La Bianca murders, just because of that, she shouldn't go free. I'm sorry. It's because of I mean, the evil deed was so awful that, yeah, I mean, I don't think she deserves to be free, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, I wonder what the family thinks. So maybe the family of the victims were favorable and they just didn't have any more hate in their hearts and wanted to forgive and just say, shit, it's been 53 years, just go free, right? Because the members of the victims have to talk to the parole board and even to the governor, and and say for it or against the parole. Okay, so yeah. Hello, Liso. Hi. I have a view. Unity says I have a view of the island of White overlooking the sea. Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, and in the summer must be really nice, right? So let's see. Martin says you probably would have got on well with Carl Jung. Carl Jung. Carl Jung. His universal consciousness ideas bring in the esoteric. Well, I have read Carl Jung. I actually have learned a lot from the way he thought. I have read, material from him. Also, that is where I get the archetype stuff is from him. Also from oh dear, this other female psychiatrist who worked under him, or she learned from him. Oh dear, what's her name? It just escapes me now. I'm sorry because I was talking about other things. But yeah, I've learned from him all about the relation of the archetypes with life, also the unconscious, the dreams, and how the tarot, what they are archetypes of our life. Okay, so it's it's fascinating, and I have learned about the shadow work, from him and other of the same kind of school of thought. Oh, come on, man. And yeah, Definitely Carl Jung. I have read and I have learned a lot from him. Yeah, and I probably should have gotten on with him. Maybe I don't know. Uh, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I love his works. Martin says, yep, the dark side of the 60s developed towards the end of the decade. Yeah, exactly. Um, I think it's because, they say that the CIA started dropping like really bad drugs on the street. And I mean, just to give you an example, okay? In those times, uh, the Summer of Love of 1967 was bloomed from Ashbury Avenue or whatever. Um, with Timothy Leary, he had been on the psychedelics things before that, but the Summer of Love was in '67 in Hyde Ashbury, okay, in San Francisco, I think, and even by that time, towards the end of of '67, it had gotten the scene had gotten really dark because the hippies that were there, all there gathered, they were living in the streets. It was like a free love thing. They were already hooked on bad drugs, and they were, the dark side of humanity had already reared its ugly head, So it was towards, yes, the end. I think the worst part was from '67 onwards, right? Even though you have wonderful music that came about, for example, The Viper at the Gates of Dawn, one of my favorite albums of all time. It was the first Pink Floyd's album, and it came out in '67. Okay, so yeah, it's a wonderful, I mean, Sgt. Pepper's from the Beatles, '67, amazing music. But by that time, it had already begun to just to show the ugly side of it, of the taking the drugs, of living in the streets, of the free love, um, and the Manson cult started in late '67, right? So it was, quite, 2 years before the murders. So there you go, hello. Uh, uh, 8 people watching. Hello, 8. So it's picking up a little bit. So hello, 8. The powerful 8, or the like the Tarantino film, the Hateful 8, or better the Loveful 8. Upper Fields Forever, yeah. Tavistock music, yeah. Exactly. So Lisa, I'm sure you will love you will like this evening's talk about the dark side of the 60s, and because Leslie Van Houten is being paroled, she's going free, and she is this girl you see here laughing and smirking and having a good old time on screen, and she's being paroled, and you know does she deserve to be paroled or not? It's been 53 years, and she's not just a follower. She was an accomplice of murder. Okay, she willingly went there and helped commit those horrible murders. So she wasn't just a follower, and I think it's one of those sociopaths who just broken. She's a broken person, and even though I'm sure she has have she have has had a lot of time to think and to repair her heart. I'm sure of that, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, she could go out and just get, make a cult herself. Who knows? I mean, she definitely didn't give a fuck about the murders. Uh, she always, if you see the screen here, she's giddy, like Willow was giddy supposedly, but Penny Lane, She's giddy here. She's like, oh yeah, I'm having such a good time. Oh yeah. I mean, you can tell that she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't really have any remorse. It's like I think she. I mean, maybe it's also a coping mechanism just to distance yourself from the trauma, because I'm sure it was traumatic being with the quote unquote Manson family and doing those horrible deeds. I'm sure it was traumatic. She was very young. I think she was 19. So yeah, um, all around horrible. But I don't think she really. I don't think she really, really feels guilty or remorseful. But I do think that she might have mended her ways. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay. Um, I don't know. What do you what do you guys do you what do you think, you guys? So this was one of the big. I mean, they say in the media, they say that Charles Manson ended the 60s, which I think uh, is not really the truth. The 60s were ended by many people, not just by the Manson family, but because of their crimes were like the crimes of the 60s in the US, right? Yeah. And you also had, the Vietnam War going on, and that's another big, creepy, dark thing there, because the Vietnam War was really dark. It has a really dark esoteric side to it. It has a really dark energy. We're like, every war, but the Vietnam War, like the Second World War, has really, really ugly, dark connotations, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't think the Manson murders were the ones that really ended the 60s. I think the 60s, its shadow self ended itself. Made it. It's like it was like, I don't know. It was the government, I think, that also put out the bad drugs for the hippies to take, and because even I'm saying, I mean, even I am talking about the dark side of the 60s. It's always, of course, it's the bright side of the 60s. There were communes that really were like good people that just wanted to live out of the system, and they were okay. Even I think some people, they are still living in communities up until today, from those times, and they have wonderful communities. But you can't deny that there is a really dark side to all this hippy dippy stuff, right? So Lisa French says Manson. Sorry, it's Manson, not Mason. But yeah, I get it. Mason wrote some songs. Man, they were interesting. Yeah, Manson wrote some songs. They were, yeah, I have heard many of the Manson music, Charles Manson's music, because I love music. I'm a music lover, and I'm a music like I'm a seeker. I like, if I someone comes and tells me, hey, come on, listen to this music to see what do you think, I will listen to it. Okay. I have listened to not everything, of course, but some of Manson's music, and yeah, some of it, I have to admit, for me personally, it is interesting. It has like a, but it's evil, because you see that the guy, in his music, you see the darkness. You see like how he used his powers, as a crooner, because he wanted to be like a crooner artist. Like he admired people like, the crooners like Frank Sinatra, etc. And so he loved the romantics, the romantic crooners of the era of the 50s. And so if you listen to his music, it's very he has some crooner music, but also he has like some like hippie music, but it's always so creepy, I find it also very interesting, the music he recorded with his girls, the girls, the Manson girls, making the backing vocals. And yes, some of the songs have a dark, impish, I don't know, like energy to it, okay? I think it is cursed. His music is cursed because he is cursed, okay? He was, because, well, he died in 2017, right? But he was cursed. The whole people who attached themselves to him became cursed and broken, okay? But yes, I have to admit that some of his music it has this fascinating quality, the fact that he had a little talent, but what he had was charm. He was very charismatic, and he was, he if you listen if you listen his guitar playing, it was always like a Spanish guitar, but the way he had flow, he had real flow to the melody, and the way he flowed with the vocals. He was quite good. I mean, he had a little talent, okay, but because I know who he is, well, not 100%, right? But it's like it's always this dark underbelly to it, right? And the music he uh, recorded with the girls, it's especially creepy and hellish for me, but it has, like it's like the movie Rosemary Baby, which, by the way, Rosemary Baby was also released in 67, and it's a totally diabolical, satanic movie, but at the same time it's like brilliant, okay? But it's not the kind of movie I want to watch. I have on rewatch. I wouldn't watch it like many times. I think I just watched it twice in my life, because I just wanted to see it, because it's a classic. It's very well done, the movie, but it's very satanic, I'm not saying that the people there, or, well, Roman Polanski is another cursed being. He's cursed, okay? And he cursed, I think Sharon Tate became cursed because of him, of being with him, okay? If she hadn't been with him, they wouldn't have moved to that house, in Cielo Drive, right? So, and Roman Polanski, the director of Rosemary's Baby and the husband of Sharon Tate, he is controversial. He can't, for decades now, he cannot return to the U.S. because he's a child rapist. And yeah, he's a proper, like, degenerate, okay? Yeah, but at the same time, his movies are so twisted, but at the same time, they're brilliant, They're fascinating. I have seen quite a few movies from him, from Roman Polanski, because, by the way, I love cinema, I love movies. I'm quite a cinephile, I don't know how you say, movie file, whatever. I'm a movie lover, but certain movies, like, I'm not going into that. But Roman Polanski, he's cursed, okay? He's totally cursed. And Lisa French says, old-fashioned witchcraft Hollywood style. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the 60s, right? That's another part of the dark side of the 60s. It's Hollywood, the Hollywood movies that were coming out in the 60s are very, some of them really, really satanic, and really, really, like, dark and twisted. And there was a lot of pedophilia, where there still is, but in those times, oh Lord, it was mafia. It was run by the mafia in those days, the Hollywood. So yeah, I mean, and Charles Manson had connections with Hollywood. He was friends with Hollywood producers. I mean, he wasn't just this idiotic cult leader, whatever. I mean, he was even, I mean, he was a criminal who had spent most of his life behind bars and institutions, and yet he was, when he came out, he just went right to crime, because that's his evil and that's all he knew, right? But Charles Manson had made really good contacts in jail, right? So he made contact with a mafia guy when he was released, and they gave him work, and also not only they gave him work, working as a pimp. Also, they gave him connections to the Hollywood entertainment industry, where he actually, they say he recorded some of his music. Um, Also, he worked with producers because they wanted to make a movie about Spahn Ranch. Um, he was going to be in a movie about Jesus Christ in the 60s, but he fell out with the producers or the director, because he was a really difficult person, right? Obviously, I mean, he was a hard criminal. He didn't get on with people so easily, okay? And he craved power, of course. Hello, Essex boys. Oh my! I fought the low and the low one. I fought the low and the low one. Hello, Essex boys. Hello, amigas and hombres. Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Hello, dear. Hello, dear Essex boys, outlaw. My favorite outlaw. And hi, EBO. Yeah, Martin says the gang is building up. 7 people. Yep, that's true, Martin. It's funny, isn't it? Uppers feel forever. Hi, Liso. Deer Hunter, Essex Boy says, always remember the Russian roulette with the guns in where? Oh, in Deer Hunter. What you got? What are you talking about, Essex? Russian roulette with the guns in it. Deer Hunter. Yeah, it's a movie because I don't know all the movies. Lizzo says, yeah. Oh, they're talking. He's saying Lizzo's talking about Deer Hunter. Okay, the movie. I think I saw it like years ago. No, I didn't. Or did I? No, I didn't. I didn't see that one. No. Yeah. Remember watching it when probably too young. Quite a few films in that era like this. Dark. There were really dark movies in those days. They were different than now. Now there are dark themes, but they are more sophisticated in a way. They're different. And Lizzo says that roulette was amazing. De Niro, though, is just class. Well, De Niro, I know you're talking amongst you guys, but De Niro is a really good, he's one of the great ones, okay? I mean, I love him in The Godfather 2, where he plays young Vito Corleone. I love The Godfather. I love The Godfather. I mean, what a trilogy, right? And he's an amazing actor. I love him in Taxi Driver. He's just amazing, And yeah, Vietnam War, yeah, very dark indeed, the Vietnam War. But I was talking about Manson, how everything relates, right? It was a really dark time, really, the 60s. And Manson made music, he had contacts, he had connections. He wasn't just another bum, in Hyde Ashbury. He actually had mafia connections from his days in jail because he was really good talking people up. He was a waffler. He was a right waffler, and he could convince people to do things for him, right? Yeah, but too bad he was a criminal, right? Yeah. Are you talking to me? Yeah. So yeah, 5 people watching now. So yeah, Give me just 1 second. Uh, just 1 second, please. I need to have a bathroom break, guys. In a minute. I'm back. Yeah, I'm back, guys. So, is there anybody out there? 4 people watching. Yeah, I had to go to the bathroom. Sorry, I'm a girl. So, Martin says as above. Anthony Hopkins, Essex Boys says. Says Anthony Hopkins too is one of my favorite outside of the gangster movies. Oh yes, he's a wonderful. He has this charismatic personality, and he's Anthony Hopkins. You know, he has such a, you know, like a, you know, he's like a gentleman of the old times. You know, and he's like a stage actor to me. And of course, I love him in Hannibal Lecter, yeah, because I love the Hannibal Lecter saga. I have read all the books, you know. I like that stuff, you know. I mean, you know, it was the first one was Manhunter, then came Red Dragon, and then The Silence of the Lambs, and then Hannibal in the trilogy, the book trilogy. And I love the books, and I love some of the movies. Yeah, I mean, amazing. The old ones are always the worst. Newsflash: Gritty is having a wee wee. Yeah, I am having a wee. I did have a wee, Unity. That's funny. So yeah. Yeah, the Who on loop. Yeah, Martin, because I think it's such really uplifting, this song, and because, as I told you before earlier in this podcast, today in the radio they played this song by the Who, and it's the Huw Edwards, right? The BBC, the Nuns, and now we're talking about the dark side of the 60s, aka the Manson family, Leslie Van Houten, Charles Manson, everyone, you know, everything. There were, you know, it was really, for me, it's like, I mean, the Rolling Stones, you know, His Satanic Majesty's Request, the album, where people say even the Beatles were satanic. I mean, I don't, it's not that I believe that, but it's fascinating because there is something that is quite creepy about psychedelic music and some type of music from that era that really is like, it's just, you know, it really plays on your subconscious. And because most of those albums were done under the influence of drugs like LSD, right? And strong THC, I'm sure, and who knows what else. Those music, that music, those albums are influenced by the psychedelic experience. But when you are in a psychedelic experience, things also can turn, dark. Because when you are under the psychedelic influence, you become, yes, very, very creative, potentially, and but also you can see all your demons. All your demons come up, okay, and you have to confront them. That is why people go to the ayahuasca ceremonies to free themselves from the ego and whatever. That means that they go to take the ayahuasca and the mushrooms, because it's a way to really confront your demons and actually know who you are, your dark side, and the side you need to know, you need to acknowledge in order to become free, okay, of them. Because when you confront your demons, so to speak, and when you understand them, when you actually see them and you acknowledge that you have them, it's easier. You live much easier. It's really more easier to live with yourself, with everybody else. You understand life much better. So yeah, I'm going to put my loop, which is the psychedelic one. Yeah. So, Lisa friend Tavistock, we are the Beatles masters. Is that right, Tavistock? I have heard about Tavistock. Is it a place in London, isn't it? Where is it like a club? Is it like what? Like, where people with powerful people like gather up and they discuss things and they create things to control the population? Is that what you're referring to, Lisa? Um, Dark Side of the Moon. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Essex Boy saying, how about a little Chianti, Miss Gritty? Yes, of course. Well, now I'm with my yerba mate, so which is, it's like taking, a blow, but in a, you know, legal, natural. Because, yerba mate is like coca leaves, and, where blow is made from is from coca leaves. But when you take them in their natural form, in the leaves, the plant, it's like a natural stimulant. It keeps you awake naturally, but it doesn't have bad side effects, right? So yeah, but it's like blow, but natural. It's the plant, and it's really, really good. Faba beans, anyone? Yeah, please. Well, I'm not sure about beans. Ew, no. Now I would like a, I don't know, like a nice hot croissant to have with my yerba mate. Essex says Hopkins moved from stage to film. Yeah, he was a stage actor, and I think he remains so. That is why I love his acting. I love stage actors. For me, one of the best people comes from theater, because they really know their craft, and yeah. So the Who on loop, who is it? Okay, so guys, 6 people watching now. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, I really appreciate your comments. Now we are 6 people here, but I'm talking about the dark side of the 60s, and it would be really nice if people in chat actually gave me their thoughts, so we can have a conversation. Otherwise I feel like I'm in a radio, but in the radio people get paid, so yeah, it's kind of like don't leave me, guys, don't leave me alone here, please. So okay, just never ate the Matrix steak. Okay. Martin, are you there? I mean, there's 6 people watching, and the thing about the lives is that it's nice where let me put it plain for you, okay, guys? I know, I'm too dramatic. Yeah. But that's because I'm a Latina. What can I do, okay? So, um, if there are YouTubers who make lives, and while people are talking amongst themselves in chat, they are actually with their computer, like showing stuff and talking about stuff, and But now here I have just my phone, so it's like very limited. So yeah. Unity says you should research Tavistock Institute. Music is mind control. Yep. I mean, I have heard Unity about the Tavistock. I have heard it like years ago. Um, yes, I agree that music, when in the wrong hands, can be mind control. But I don't think that all music is mind control. I mean, it's like you can't say everything is that or everything is this. Um, I mean, there is wonderful music that if you are intelligent enough, you can actually understand the music and enjoy the music without having your brain washed. You can actually think for yourself. But yeah, I agree that there is music which is really harmful and is designed to just make people stupid, yeah, and just follow certain trends that the society wants to. The politicians, the runners, the ones who run this world, yeah. But not all music is like a mind control. It is only if you let it be, okay. Everything, you have the power. You have the power, okay. I don't believe in that. We are all slaves. No, no, no. You are a slave until you realize that you are a slave. When you realize that you are a slave, you have two options. Okay, you stay a slave, or you're no longer a slave. It's up to you. I mean, it's not up to anybody else. Evil is in this world, is always going to be. There always was evil in this world. There is, and there's going to be. But it's up to each one of us to decide whether we are a victim or a free person. And but yeah, the only way you can come out of slavery is by realizing that you are a slave, right? It's the only way, because if you don't realize you're a slave, you're always going to be a slave, right? And there are many levels of slavery, okay? Many levels, there are many types of slavery. But of course, the true slavery is, like Bob Marley said, is the slavery of the mind, okay? Because even if you're a slave, like like the African Americans were, like that awful time where they were slaves to the whites, and they had to realize, and to actually fight that power, right? And it's with everything, like everything else, and even when you're a slave, you realize you're a slave, but you can't do anything about it, because the people, your masters, are so powerful. So the only freedom you can have is the freedom of the mind. It's just like that. I mean, it's simple as that, I think. I mean, at least that's what I found in my life, that I have been slave to this or to that, to that kind of thinking, because patterns of thinking can make you a slave, okay? Yes, society makes you a slave, yes, but it's up to you whether you consider yourself a slave or not, whether you're free or not. It's not a it's something it's a state of being free, truly free, right? It's not about external, it's about your inner being, okay? Martin says good music opens minds, bad music closes them. Yeah, I mean, good music. I mean, Pink Floyd, for example. I mean, Pink Floyd is amazing. It's like listening to Mozart for me. I mean, I don't feel like I'm being brainwashed. Actually, it's like, I became even more interested about music and other topics and books. And I had spiritual experiences. I found God. Who knows? Maybe thanks to music. Who knows? I found more freedom, more ability to think about other things that I haven't wouldn't have thought before. I listened to that music. I don't think I don't watch. I don't see life like oh, everything is like brainwashed and evil. Yeah, I mean the world for me I think is evil because the real power of this world is in the hands of a few. That's a fact. Okay, so there is corruption, there's evil in this world, but also there can be evil in each one of us. Okay, and it's up to us to be conscious of that evil and and destroy it within us. Okay, but I don't like the victim mentality. Oh, I'm a victim, Yeah, we are victims, but at the same time, we are not. We have the capacity to become conscious of that we are being victims, slaves, and we have the power to be able to fight it. It doesn't matter if we win or we don't. What it matters is that you're in your mind. You're no longer a slave. Okay, that's what I think. Okay. First principle, Martin says, know yourself to be yourself. Yes, exactly. You have to. I mean, it's not that easy to know oneself. Yeah, sometimes it takes years and years and years um, to actually know who you are. Because of personal traumas and circumstances. Yeah, so some people actually die and never know themselves. Having never known themselves. It's not something that is always done. It's not like not everybody achieves knowing ourselves, and but it is a state of being. It's up to you. It happens to you. It doesn't happen. It's not about other people. Okay, the ultimate freedom. It depends on you. Okay, it doesn't depend on anybody else. Because ultimately you are alone with yourself, right? You can't depend on this world for your freedom, otherwise you're fucked. Okay. Unity Collins says, yep, Spice Girls, girl power. I remember the Spice Girls. The Spice Girls, yeah, I remember that in 97, was it? What, 96? Oh, I don't remember. And I didn't like them at all. They were like quite ridiculous. And, you know, there were many projects, in the 90s with the boys bands and girl bands. I have already seen a lot of the how the music, certain bands, certain uh, entertainment industries design music to control our minds. I have seen many documentaries on it. So, but I am at a stage in my life that that no longer bothers me because it's up to you to be free or not, to be brainwashed. I mean, if you let yourself be brainwashed, well, too bad. But you can wake up. If you wake up and you realize that you are being brainwashed, either by your family, by your country, by the TV, by the music, by the movies, television, whatever, when you realize, then you're free. That's it. You're free. But you have to be careful because then you can become a slave of your own ideas, right? You always have to be vigilant of yourself, right? And that ties in, the last live I made. I was talking about the hermit, Martin, remember? And about the number 9 in tarot, which is the hermit, which is the wise one. And wisdom ties in with what I'm talking about right now. Wisdom it's about freedom. It's about self-knowledge, like Martin says. You have to come to terms with who you are, with your own dark side. You really have to know yourself to actually, become a free person, right? So that is why, I mean, I think you can be a slave to, yeah, to the music, to the government, whatever, the television, the music, but most of all, beware, because you can become a slave to your own ideas, your own thought patterns, okay? Beware of that. You have to be vigilant with yourself. Yes, you have to be vigilant with the world, especially today, right? But you have to be very vigilant with the way you think, right? It's very easy to become enslaved by your mind, right? Essex says, Gritty just then was the first. Essex boy says, Gritty just then was the first time I smiled all day. LOL at what you were saying. We love your warrior attitude. Deal with it if you want something else style. Unity says Pink Floyd Tavistock Band. Unity says some people die not knowing themselves. Lyric. If you could, expand on it, Unity. Why is Pink Floyd a Tavistock band? Why? I mean, I remember you said that before. Um, why is it? I mean, just tell me why, okay? Because I mean, I love Pink Floyd. I love their music. I mean, not all of their music. I mean, I don't like Pink Floyd post when Roger Waters left the band or whatever. I just didn't like it anymore. I think the magic was between the first album with Syd Barrett, Roger Waters, Rick Wright, and Nick Mason, and then with David Gilmour when Syd was sacked from the band. But then the magic was between David Gilmour and Roger Waters. When they had their big, whatever stupid fight, and he was sacked from the band. Yeah, I think personally, I think then the band sucked. I don't like Pink Floyd post Roger Waters. Okay, yeah, I don't like. But why do you say that Pink Floyd is a Tavistock band? I want to know why. I just want, why. I mean, just give me some pointers. And but ultimately, it's up to you whether you are free or you're a slave, okay? When you realize that you are being a slave to something, it could be something external or something internal, like your mind. When you realize, okay, I'm being a slave to this thought pattern, then it's only then I can say, okay, I have to examine this thought pattern. Why do I have it? And then you're going to find, childhood traumas or whatever. But it's the only way, to expose your shadow self, expose it in the light. And then you will be able to examine it and to actually, you will see, okay, so I am like this because that happened to me, I need to just transcend it. I don't want that anymore. I don't want to be that person anymore, okay? So then that's when you actually can move on and transcend yourself, and that's the hermit, the nine in the tarot cards. It's transcending yourself and this world in order to metaphorically go up, to another stage, to another level, right? Martin says most bands' creative peak is at their early genesis. Yeah, the Beatles were the exception. So for me, Barrett, Pink Floyd was the peak. Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, For me, they had two peaks. They have the first album with Sid Barrett, which is, like I said, one of my favorite albums of all time. It's the album that changed my life, when I was like 14 years old. It's that kind of album that is one of the loves of your life. If you love music, you have that album that is the love of your life, your twin soul, right? And there are many albums that can become your twin souls, right? For me, it's definitely the Piper at the Gates of Dawn, but I don't think their creativity peaked there, just there. I mean, I think that was a peak because it was Sid Barrett, but then Sid Barrett was sacked, and then became David Gilmour, and they made a whole nother Pink Floyd. But I think they still they kept their magic, and I think David Gilmour added some of his magic, his voice, the way, beautiful way he plays the guitar, whatever. But I think they also peaked, Pink Floyd peaked with the Dark Side of the Moon, obviously. But not only that, I think The Wall was amazing. The Wall was fuck. It's like out of this world. But then, by The Wall, Pink Floyd were all, you know, they were all like quarreling between each other. Everything was like, bad between them. The Roger Waters, David Gilmour, you know, was, this desperation, all that, the quarreling. Yeah, but I think, Pink Floyd had many peaks. I think I think the first album with Sid, and then the Dark Side of the Moon, and then Wish You Were Here. It's amazing. Animals is amazing. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just amazing, and it speaks about the truth. It speaks about this world, the way how this world works, and the Wall is just amazing. It's just, I'm sorry. It's just, Pink Floyd are amazing for me, and I don't know why they're a Tavistock band. I just don't know. What do you mean, Unity, by that? Good Vibrations, Gritty. Yep, Good Vibrations. What tarot card is 27th November? Oh, 27th November. That is okay. So 27th November. It's first Deacon Sagittarius, isn't it? Yeah, it's first Deacon Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is, oh my God, it's the in the Major Arcana. Sagittarius is the fuck me. La Templanza, the Temperance card, and also related with. It's very difficult to explain because there are many details to it and many points, like directions. But yes, 27th of November. Also, because each sign, it's divided into 3 deacons. So you have deacon 1, 2, and 3, and each deacon has a card. Okay. So I think first deacon Sagittarius is you have first cardinal, then fixed, and then mutable. Sagittarius is a fire mutable sign, so it will be in tarot. Let me think. It will be 9, 8, 9, yes. It will be 8 of wands. Okay, the specific card for 27th of this November, it's the 8 of wands in tarot. Okay, it's a fire card because Sagittarius is a fire sign. So yeah, what about that? And Martin says, yep, later Floyd was good, but early was just better. Oh yes, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was more psychedelic earlier. Even their earlier albums after just after Sid Barrett. You know, they were really trippy. I love the I love uh, Martin. Don't you love Pink Floyd live at Pompeii? I mean, that's a trip. That's a right trip. Come on. Tell me what you think about that. Pink Floyd live at Pompeii, which also comes from the Saucer Full of Secrets, which is an amazing album. No, not Saucer Full of Secrets. Saucer Full of Secrets was the first one after Sid left, and then came the Live at Pompeii, which is from Metal. Is it Metal? Uh, so it's just now we are down to 3 people watching now. So you see, it's like, yeah, it's like, it's like just, yeah, it's very oscillating, Martin. Martin says, yep, live at Pompeii, great, and Saucerful too, yeah. They're quite trippy, very trippy. I love them. And Unity says, everybody put out your birthday in, that meant the world, Gritty. That is going into a song. Oh, so is that your birthday, Unity? 27th of November. Are you first Deacon Sagittarius? It's the Eight of Wands. Ocho, nueve, diez, yeah. The Eight of Wands is the first Deacon of Sagittarius. Yep. I mean, I could go on forever about this. When you start waffling, it's like, and you have one pointer, okay? We started with the dark side of the 60s, right? The Manson murders. And then, you can tie it into so many other factors, Now we were talking about Pink Floyd. Some people say Pink Floyd, they are a Tavistock band, like, they were created by this elite to manipulate people. I don't know about that because I love Pink Floyd. I love their music with all my heart, but not Pink Floyd post Roger Waters. That sucked for me. That. Oh yeah, so Unity. Oh, so that was your birthday. Yeah, so you're a Sagittarius. Oh yes, okay. So you're quite impish too. Hey Martin, can you say what your zodiac sign is, if you don't mind? If you do mind, that's fine. But it's just very interesting, for me, obviously. So what you mean, Eunice? What does it mean? Well, what does it mean? What the card, the Eight of Wands. So your card will be the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands, like I said, 8 is all about power and self-empowerment. And it's also about, it's leaving something for your betterment, okay? Lots of the police stations stars, the logo from the police stations, they have 8 pointed stars because it means power, okay? Martin says 10th October, 3 a.m. Sunday morning. Isle of Man. Oh my God, you gave me your whole, natal chart. Can I do your natal chart, Martin, just for my pleasure? Martin is a Libra. Yeah, did you know, Martin, that Libra are ruled by Venus? And that is why Libras are so artistic. There are many, many musicians, Libra musicians and artists, because Libra, they are ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet or the energy of creation, of abundance, of creativity, of beauty. It is beauty and balance, and music, it's beauty and balance, harmony, And for you, yep, Libras, yeah, lots of musicians are Libra. John Lennon was a Libra. typical Libra, and many, many others. And Unity is a Sagittarius. Jim Morrison was a typical Sagittarius. Yep. For example, just to give you an example. Also, many serial killers are Sagittarius. Just, the gritty stuff, Ted Bundy was a Sagittarius. Yeah, I mean, if you want, yeah, I mean, we can later talk about that in another podcast, live podcast, about the natal charts. It's very interesting. It's another, nice topic to talk about, to waffle about, and wow. Oh, Martin, but you didn't give me your year of birth, but that's fine, it's okay. Yeah, without the year, I cannot make the natal chart, but that's fine. I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm going to. That wasn't my purpose. I want to know your zodiac sign. So Libra is very arty, and very harmonious and creative. Also clear-headed. If they are not under the shadow side. Unity, Martin, I am so cool with you. I see your donation. Thank you. Martin, he says, I think it's delayed the chat. You say you can do my chart, but I need your the year of birth. You can, if you want me to, you can send it to me by email, and we can. Yeah, and of course I won't give all the details if you don't want, and we can talk about it on the next episode if there is one. By the look of it, I love waffle with the flow. Yes, me too. Me too. It's like a radio, I feel like I'm in a radio, and you're people who just dialed in this frequency, right? You are in the gritty frequency. What would my number be if I was a radio? What do you guys think? 100.3. No. Okay, gritty will do. Yeah. Okay, Martin, send me your details. Privately by email. If you want to send me your details, guys, or whatever information, just you can write me at grittyastro@gmail.com, right? So 5 people watching now. I have been waffling for about exactly 102 minutes. And today, I have to admit, it's very, very slow compared to other lives. Maybe I think, Martin, is because I dropped the Nikki Bully hashtag, and or because I have as hashtags in this one, I have Manson, Leslie Van Houten, and BBC. Maybe, yeah, YouTube doesn't want me to spread my evil message against the BBC. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, actually, because they control, YouTube can control that, 9. Unity, you say 9. What do you mean by 9? For me, 9 is wisdom, is the wise person. 999. No, but that's 666, damn it, no. Yeah, Gritty Astro. Tune in at 666 radio. 666 FM radio. Oh, Radio 9. I like that, Martin. I like that, but not 999 because, okay, that's 666. No, thank you. But it's funny. Essex is very funny. 999. I mean, 99.99. You're saying, Unity, I am a number 9. Well, because, yeah, I mean, it's the wise person. And, yeah, I actually, I kind of identify, not because I am wise, but because I seek for wisdom all my life, and to transcend, all these struggles in life, and to understand life, because the nine, the hermit, is also the seeker, and I am a seeker. He seeks, she seeks understanding, knowledge. They seek peace, harmony. To know the answers, to seek for the answers, to understand. Yeah, so I'm a number nine. Yeah. Technically, from my birth date, I am an 11, so they say that's a master path or whatnot in numerology. Uh, but yeah, I don't know about that. But I am an 11 in numerology according to my birth date. So yeah, 9 and 11. Oh, 9/11. Oh shit. I'm 9/11. No. So I'm 9 and I'm 9/11. Oh god, no. But Radio 9 is okay. It has a nice ring to it. My favorite number has always been 9, but we've never known why. But I have never known why. Martin says, "Yeah, I mean, for example, my personal favorite number is 7. Okay, has always been 7. I don't know why. It's not my birthday number, but 7. Maybe it's because and because even since I was a child, 7, I loved 7, and also I love 15, and 9, I like very much 9, and 15 and 7, and 6, because 6 is like harmony as well, but 7, I don't know why. And then when I was a teenager, I came across to the first Pink Floyd album. There's chapter 24, and Sid Barrett chants like I Ching chapter, and chapter 24, right? And he chants the 7 is the number of the young light. Um, and so it's like 7 is like this mystical number for me. I love it. 27, 2 plus 7, 9. Yeah. So 27. Oh, that's the club 27 as well, right? Unity, the club 27, 27 years. There's a. Did you know, for those who are interested, that there is a correlation between why people like the club 27, people who die at that age, and people who die before they hit 30. It has an astrological correlation too, because it's near the Saturn return, the planet Saturn. It returns to the same place it was when you were born, at around 27, 28, 29, 30 years old, sometimes 31, 32, it depends. Because of the Saturn ecliptic, it kind of changes a little bit, and but it's around like 30 years. And so that is why you have the club 27. That's another a whole nother subject, right? Topic. The club 27 is a tragic club, and it's very interesting as well. It's something like a math channel, yeah, but it's not math. It's kind of like numerology and mysticism, and it's about archetypes in numbers. Yeah. I mean, there is some basic math, of course. S Club 7. Oh dear, no thank you, I don't like that music. I mean, Unity says Amy Winehouse back to Tavistock. Poor Amy. I mean, but Amy died because I think she died. If you are going to take, I always thought that Amy's life was strange. Obviously, Amy's life was always like tragic and strange. And remember, Unity, I always remember when she was in that interview, I don't remember the guy's name, and she said that they tried to put me inside triangle, but I just said no, okay, that she just wanted to go her way. and then her life started to go like really bad, and she died tragically at 27 years of age. Yeah, that's very interesting to me. Martin says we are on to numerology, uh, Pythagoras, and Francis Bacon would help out here. Oh yeah, um, definitely. So, but we have to go with what we know. I have to go with what I know. Which is, I'm not an academic. Like those guys were. I'm not like a. I mean, I have always been a philosopher of sorts. But yeah, I mean, I haven't reached that level, of course, but I have a little knowledge. So yeah, it makes for interesting talk. Yeah. So the seven is my favorite number, and seven is about change. It's about. It's also like a very mystical name. They say it's one of the numbers of God. I didn't know that back then when I was a child, and I liked the number seven. I learned later on, that the seven is a biblical name as well. Um, I don't know why I love seven, but I love seven. Okay, and I also love nine, because nine is the wisdom. Okay. Yep. Whoa, triangle revelation. Yeah, I mean, remember Unity, Amy Winehouse interview with this guy. What's his name? Of course, this was like decades ago. It was like 2000, early 2000s, I think. And that's when she was still quite healthy. And, she said, they tried to put me inside triangle, but I said no. It's like rehab. I said no, no, no. Wanna make me go to rehab, but I said no, no, no. What a good tune! It's a great tune. What a great song! I love Amy Winehouse, by the way. I love her music. Uh, I think she was kind of like a little genius in the music she made, that she managed to create in those two albums. Yeah, I actually have both her albums because I love her music. And yeah. Unity says, I lost my. What? I lost my big T on the. What? It was my mom's and brother's birthday, so they were all out. Okay. What? What? What are you on about, Unity? So, yeah, I mean, it could be a great, an interesting topic. The Club 27, right? The 27 Club, yeah. All those people who died, artists who died at 27 years of age. It's like, wow, there's something here. Too much information, Unity. Yeah. I mean, if that's what I think it is. I mean, yeah, it's a little TMI. I mean, it's not taboo, but I mean, it's not like a taboo thing. I don't mind. But yeah, I mean, whatever. So 6 people watching now. Oh no. You shouldn't. You retract to your message, Unity. You shouldn't have done. I mean, it's okay. I mean, but you are in your right to retract the message. It's fine, Unity. Please don't take. Do not take. Don't be angry. I didn't mean it like to. I didn't mean to repress you in any way. I'm just saying it was a little bit TMI. Just banter. Okay, that's fine, Unity. I mean, it's all right with you. Okay. Jesus. So, only joking. Martin says only joking, but I mean, that was funny and weird at the same time, but it's okay. I mean, I live in a quite weird world, so yeah, as long as he's respectful and not too, and abusive, it's fine. I don't mind. Um, Nicola Bully, calm down. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it is a calm down, isn't it? It is a kind of a calm down. But I'm not sure what you mean by that, but it's interesting what you say. Unity, Nicola Bully, calm down. It's like, well, what was Nicola Bully like a drug? And now it's a calm down. Essex Boy says, some days I like ODD days, but I am more mischievous than on even days as I am more calm. Is it an OCD thing? What? What is ODD? What are you talking about, Essex? What context? Um, what is ODD? I don't know. If you want to explain, if you want to comment on that, Essex, mischievous and then calm. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's normal for people to sometimes be more this and then more less of that, Um, odds and events, odds and evens. Uh, odd. As in, sometimes I like odd. Some days I like odd days, but I am more mischievous than on even days. All right, okay. As in numbers. I'm sorry, Uh, as you know, English is not my first language, so I have a little bit of a barrier. Um, so yeah, well, I don't see that. For example, in my life, I don't see that happening. But yeah, I mean, definitely, I don't think. No, in my experience, numbers do not, do not mark my day or my behavior. But uh, for example, I don't like the number 5. When I remember when I went to a hotel, I was traveling, and I didn't want, and the room that they gave me was it. If you added all the numbers, it came to a 5. And I said, oh shit, no, 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 I don't want to be here. It's like being in the famous room 17 or whatever, room 28, in the horror films. And for me, it's like numbers that end up in 5. And I don't like it. I just don't like the energy of a number of a room if it ends up in 5, if it's a 5 number. Because for me, 5, it's like a conflict, and I don't like it, and even though you have the 5 pointer star, which is a pagan star. It's not just this satanic star. It's a pagan star. uh, that's fine because it means the 4 elements plus spirits. But for me, 5 is like, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't know why. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got it. SX. I got it. Yeah. I got it. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't. It was just like a language barrier. And yeah. 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 So numbers. I think numbers have like a certain, because they represent archetypes. Um, they Therefore they have their own energy. But of course, numbers alone don't have energy. We are the ones who give numbers meaning. We are the ones who give everything meaning, actually. So yeah. Odd, Essex Boy says, odd alters the balance. Well, yeah, exactly. That is why in tarot, the odd numbers are the action numbers when there is change. When something like turns the tables, right? And something changes, okay? And the even numbers are the numbers of rest, where when something is being quiet for the moment, is being the same for the moment, right? And but odd numbers in tarot are the ones that spark action. Action. Yep. 7 people watching. So when I was, you know, waffling about numerology, and yeah, I don't like the number 5. But I love your idea, Martin. Radio 9. But then again, 9 is like number 9, which is a John Lennon song, which I think is a wonderful song as well. It's creepy, but it's like fascinating as well. I think it's a beautiful, darkish song. Yeah, number 9. No, Dream number 9. Dream in the, number 9 is the one in was it in the White Album, which is number 9, number 9, number 9. That's just right creepy, you know. Yep. So yeah, you know, and so today has been a slow day, and I have 7 people watching. But you know, it's really, I think it was the hashtags and the fact that I didn't put the Nikki Bully hashtag. Yeah, the calm down. Yeah, and it, you know, the views dropped from my live. But yeah, I mean that's the way it goes, innit? You know, yeah. Sorry, I mean if that means that less people is going to be watching me, maybe it's just I will just grow on another kind of public, you know, besides you guys, of course. Um, but yeah, I mean it's kind of like strange. Like it's like, you know, strange days. Today's a strange day. Great Doors song, by the way. Do you know the Doors? The song "Strange Days." Strange days. It's so dark. It's very of the time of the you know, late 60s. You know, it's part of the dark side of the 60s. And Martin says, yes, both number 9, Beatle, Lennon songs are good for different reasons. Yes, they are for different reasons. Yeah, and yeah, because the first one was is it, yeah, in the White Album, and yeah, you have Revolution number 9, I think, as well. And this is funny because it also ties in, you know, Martin, how everything, I love how everything ties in the conversation, you know. Number 9, the Beatles songs, and is it Revolution number 9? And it's, you know, in the White Album, isn't it? And the White Album, let me see the White Album. Old, come on. Yeah, you have the songs, you know. That album allegedly, supposedly inspired Charles Manson to commit the murders. That's the helter-skelter theory by the prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi, who prosecuted Manson, the Manson family. And yeah, I mean, it is a fact that Charles Manson was obsessed with this album, the White Album. And yeah, I mean, the White Album is a great album. Also, it's a strange album. You cannot deny it. It's very strange. It has beautiful songs, but then you have creepy, trippy songs like Revolution 9, like, well, you know, Helter Skelter is the one, you know. You have Long, 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 yeah, by George Harrison, which is like very trippy, and he's like in this, I don't know, like this you know, hashish trip, you know. It's kind of like depressing, isn't it? And then you have Wild Honey Pie, which is like, it's so strange Honey pie, boom, 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 honey pie. It's so strange. And but then you have great tunes like Dear Prudence. That's a John Lennon one. Well, you have a really dark one by John Lennon, which is Happiness is a Warm Gun. Happiness is a warm gun. Sexy Sadie, which Sexy Sadie was the nickname of one of the Manson murders, one of the Manson girls who were in the Sharon Tate murders. Sexy Sadie. Um, Susan Atkins was her real name, and she died in prison. She was the one that actively assisted in murdering Sharon Tate and the others. Oh my God! And they took her nickname from "Sexy Sadie," the Beatles song, from the White Album. Yeah, so the White Album is creepy in a way. It has like the Nicola Bulli case has this very you have the surface of it, and then you have the esoteric hidden dark side of it. But you have great tunes in that album. You have Cry Baby Cry. I love that song. Cry Baby Cry. Da 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 da. Oh, is that Paul McCartney? Oh fuck, I can't remember. But then you have lots of like kind of like dark John Lennon tunes like I'm So Tired. Then you have Paul McCartney always writes the uplifting songs, like in this case, in this album, you have Obladi Oblada, you have Mother Nature song, which I used to play it in the guitar because it's quite easy to play and it's very folky. Martin, you're going to like that. You're going to agree with me, aren't you? Like Mother Nature song is a great folky tune, isn't it, Martin? Yep, Strange Days, Thor's Classic is a wonderful album. Yep, the esoteric link again. Unity says, if you had thought of I Am Nikki back in February, you would be famous. Well, but I didn't. I came up just, some weeks ago when I was doing I was reading from the inquest reports on the mainstream media. And I thought, this is so fucked up, and I created the hashtag I am Nikki. But, I don't believe in coulda, woulda, shoulda. I don't if, then buts, I just flow with it, It's just everything is the way it's supposed to be. You can't force things. So, yeah, whatever. I don't know if I would have been famous, I don't know about that, but who knows, right? Martin says Manson was mad enough to think he was getting messages direct from the Beatles. Cry Baby Cry was Lennon. Yep, Mother Nature's son, folky and sweet. Yep, and I used to play it. I know it. I mean, I haven't played my guitar. I have a beautiful metal string acoustic guitar that I've had it since I was in my 20s. And still in very good shape. And sometimes I strum my guitar, and I used to know how to play it. It's very folky, it's very beautiful. I also love Blackbird, which is also Blackbird is one of major songs that supposedly inspired Charles Manson to have all these fantasies in his mind about there being like a racial war and all that. And in the crime scenes, his accomplices wrote on the walls "Helter Skelter," "Political Piggies," and also Black. I know they never wrote Blackbird, but Blackbird Manson thought that was about the racial war. So he was totally obsessed with that album, totally obsessed. I mean, it's incredible how, and I admit that even before I knew about Manson, that album was it has like a creepy thing to it, you know. But Paul McCartney wrote Blackbird, and he also wrote Helter Skelter, which is uh, what Manson supposedly also drew inspiration from. Helter Skelter, like it's coming down, the race war is coming down, the end of the world, whatever. It's very interesting, it's fascinating, and it's fascinating, Martin, and everyone, how when you are in conversation, when I love how everything ties neatly into everything. I have been talking about there, everything ties in. It's kind of beautiful. um yep, Unity says Manson may have been a psyop spelled wrong on purpose. Okay. Yep. I have investigated the Manson saga, so to speak, in quite depth. I'm not an expert like those guys who now write books and whatnot, but I have investigated it. I have read many things about the case, many points of view by bona fide Manson investigators. And yes, some of them, actually, the Tom O'Neill book, uh, he concludes that Manson was actually a CIA infiltrate, and it was all a CIA plan to end the 60s. Yes, there is a theory about that. Yes, Unity, you're correct. Therefore, a psyop. Yeah, I haven't, I don't have a conclusion about that, because you know, uh, it could have been just Manson being Manson, being a crazy guy and having and creating a cult just to get women, and just and to enact his delusions of grandeur, So it could have gone either way. But yeah, it is, it's a well-known theory that it is a psyop. It was a psyop by the CIA. Yes, there's a book, you know, by, I think the name is Tom O'Neill, who wrote a book in 2011, I think, or 2000. Yeah, it's it's quite good, and but he concludes that it might have been a CIA operation. Martin says, just goes to show how you can interpret anything to suit your own thoughts if you overthink. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, overthinking. Yeah, I mean, it's called confirmation bias, isn't it, Martin? Unity says, I've been to strawberry fields on the outskirts of Liverpool. Yeah, I've been there too when I went to England. When there a coachload of Chinese people got off coach. So funny. Oh, yeah, it must have been really trippy, right? Really trippy. And Unity says, Martin, I said thank you because I cannot donate. Oh, Unity, you sweetheart. Yeah, I mean, I wish people would donate if they wanted, if they could, to this channel. I have always leave my donation link in the description, which I will do. Yeah, it's there in the description. If you look at it, there's coffee.com/Gritty. It's called My Kitty because it's my kitty that whoever wants to donate there, I'm stashing that money to buy a computer in order to make really much better lives. And because these lives are very limited, as you can see, I cannot show you many things. I can only talk, but it would be great if we could make more, richer content. But yeah, my kitty is there. If anybody wants to donate and can donate, please do so. I will be eternally grateful. But Unity, thank you for saying so. You have a good intention, so that's great. Martin says, if you are fundamentally crazy. Yeah, I mean, but for example, what is crazy? Like having lost control. What is being crazy? It's like losing control of your mind, of your actions. What is actually crazy? I mean, that's another interesting subject to talk about, right? What is crazy? What is actually crazy, right? Um, I mean, we know that lots of genius in this world have been called crazy when they actually just were people who thought on another level, and later, much later on, they were redeemed, and they were not crazy, they were geniuses, they were just thinking on another level, out of the box, out of the square, out of the the matrix of the status quo of the times, but yes, then you have the crazies, like, I don't know, like serial killers, um, like clinical crazy, like people who can be in society and need to be locked up in a hospital and a psychiatric hospital. What do you think? Yeah, Martin, misunderstanding. Oh, you see. Oh my God. I mean, you're so great. It's like you also tied in. Yeah, with the email. Yeah, misunderstanding. All you see. Yeah, in an evil filter. Yeah. So for you, misunderstanding all you see, like Strawberry Fields Forever. Yeah, great. I mean, one of the best songs ever written for me. Um, that John says, living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see. Bum, bum, bum. It's getting hard to be someone, but it all works out. Bum, bum. It doesn't matter much to me. Do you think, Martin, do you think that John Lennon was feeling crazy when he wrote that song? I'm sure he was on LSD, that's for sure. But Martin, do you think that he was kind of crazy there? Um, yeah, and the evil filter, yeah, because you have to have the evil filter, like actually hurt people, mislead people, lie to people, and harm people, ultimately be it like harming them mentally, emotionally, physically. Yeah, that's evil, when you harm people, yeah. But there's also conscious evil, because there are people who actually know they're being evil and they don't give a fuck. And there are people who I think they're being evil and they don't know they're being evil, because they have, they just can't see it. But there are sadists, sadistic evil. They know what they're doing, right? So there are many kinds of crazy, right? um Unity says, losing control of my mind. Yeah, that's kind of being crazy. Yeah, losing control. Um, yeah, exactly. As long as you don't lose control, you're fine. And you might seem crazy, but you're actually in control, right? If you're in control, you're not crazy. Um, Martin says, I think he was trying to express how his school friends and teachers made him feel at school. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Um, Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry. But he says nothing is real and nothing to be hung about. But he says strawberry feels forever. Like he actually likes that memory. But I think John Lennon he had a very complicated mind, and he was kind of a genius, actually, I think. And so I think that he also was expressing, because I know that he knew that he was going crazy at times in his life, that when he was losing control. So maybe I think always thought that song "Strawberry Fields" forever. It's kind of like he's talking about he's crazy, and also about living is easy with eyes closed. Like, for example, if you are asleep, then you have it easier because it just, I mean, it's easier not to know about the evils in this world, you know. But I think it's better to know about the evils in this world, no matter how. You need to be strong, but you need to know the truth. I think we all need to deal with the truth and not live with eyes closed, right? Like John said. Essex says, "Don't stop me now. Grit is having such a good time." Yeah. Well, I'm a very musical person, because uh, many members of my family, my father's side, they are all musicians, so it comes, it's in my blood, so to speak, the musicality of it. So I have my guitar. I like singing, but it's not like I'm not a creator of music. No, but I love singing. I love music. Unity says to control minds of masses, come into LSD world. Yeah, that could be. I mean, allegedly, Charles Manson, he used LSD to control his family, his quote unquote family, right? The girls and the few men that were in the family. He used high doses of LSD, trips, LSD trips to control the people in his cult, and he wouldn't take as much LSD or so he could be in control, right? So LSD definitely, it's you can use it to control others uh, if they are asleep, okay? Because if they are awake, if they know who they are, you can't control them, okay? But yeah, I think that much of the Manson family were misled, broken kids, and with a touch of evil, like this lady here, uh, Leslie Van Houten. She was a pretty broken young teenage girl with a touch, just a touch, the right touch of evil to be entrapped into Manson's world, into Manson's dark, twisted world, Martin says Strawberry Fields is an essay of childhood nostalgia and confusion, in my opinion. Yep. Well, I mean, confusion. Yeah, I mean, childhood. Yeah, because it was part of his childhood places. Yeah, I agree, and confusion too. But I think he always was trying to say something else. Um, he was quite the philosopher. He was, I think. Unity says it was God given that he lived in a place called Strawberry Fields, and I also went to the house that Paul McCartney grew up in. Yep. Well, I went to where the cavern used to be and all that, and yeah, I went to the street, Strawberry Fields, um, and Penny Lane, I think too. Oh, it was like decades ago. Unity says, Have you seen Who Lived Their Scenes? I will Twitter you. Okay, yeah, Twitter away, Unity. I will see your tweets, your twitterings. So yeah, you know, it's been like 2 hours ago, over 2 hours ago that I started streaming, and just to round it up. This is, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this channel yet, because I'm a Capricorn, so I'm a Capricorn, and Capricorns, we like we are result driven. I mean, I love talking with you guys, but at the same time, if over time this doesn't give me the results that I need to feel really satisfied, maybe I will just stop doing the lives and whatnot, and do them when I really, maybe just once in a while, I don't know, because I don't mean to, I'm not complaining. What I'm doing is being realistic with my wishes, with who I am, and I love talking with you guys, I really do. But because with this channel, it's very tiny. First of all, it's very, very tiny. And after the Nicola thing, it really hasn't grown. And I'm not really a podcaster. I like lives. I like just talking live. I have found that I love talking live because it's more like spontaneous, and it's like kind of like it's more relaxed. So yeah, I still don't know what I'm going to do with this channel. And after the Nikki Bully thing, the views went down. So yeah, there's you guys, and I love talking to you guys. But I have to tell you, I have to be sincere. Actually, doing a live takes a lot of energy out of you because you are scrunching over a telephone, speaking, and yeah, you get. I'm long-winded, so I talk a lot. I know that, but it takes a lot from you, um, this format because when I am with friends or family or whatever, we can talk over a glass of wine like for hours on end, and that's another kind of thing. But this one is like, I'm speaking to a telephone, and because the views have gone down since the Nikki, I stopped talking about Nikki Bully. I'm not sure, I really, I'm not sure if it's worth it. Not because of you guys. I mean, you're great, but it really does take a lot from me, like energy wise, and not to mention the time, right? But I love talking to you guys. But today it's just 5 people watching. Is it worth it? Do you think it's worth it? Um, yeah. Uh, yeah, it was God given. Yeah, when you are in the mood, hang in there. Yeah, I mean, sure. 10cc coming up. Is that like 10cc? What is that 10cc? Oh, you mean the song? Is that the song, isn't it? Like I'm not in love. I'm not in love. Is that the one, Essex Boys? Is that the one? Um I love the interaction, but today it's really slow, um yeah, it's like, okay, I don't know, what I'm going to do. Maybe I will just make more scattered in time lives, um, because yeah, it's like the people who subscribed here, maybe they just did because I was talking about Nikki Bully, and now they just don't care, they just go to other channels, bigger channels, of course. And actually, to actually make a YouTube channel work, because I have read about it, um, like a good Capricorn, I have read my stuff. I like to know what I'm getting into and how it works. Um, but yeah, it's very slow, and yeah, it's like, I don't know. I mean, there are YouTubers who are so into it, like they they are just relentless. But what I have found is that those kind of YouTubers who actually make like a career out of it is people who are very business driven, and they just talk about just certain topics that they know people will like, like true crime and and all that, politics, the war, um, and sports, yeah. But they always keep, they keep it on topic. They don't scatter like I do. They just speak about a certain topic, and that's how they make their business, right? And that's why they always have an audience, because that audience is always, is people who actually like just that topic, and that's how they grow, right? So I can see how they do it, but they just talk about one or two topics, and that's it. um, True crime is very interesting for YouTube. Many YouTubers, but you have to love it. I mean, I don't. I'm not interested in doing just true crime, um, because it's just It's not my thing, I'm like a radio, like those radios of olden days where they used to like play music and also just talk and talk about anything. That's me, and it's a great thing that I have discovered here. Um, but he says, Unity, don't doubt your talent. Arrive when you arrive. Yeah, it's not about doubting my talent. It's about whether is it worth it, because yeah, it's like just 4 people watching now. It's like what, and just using all this energy. But or it's not about you guys. I mean, you 4 guys that are watching right now, you are great. But I'm speaking that when you do something, it has to grow, right? It has to people. You have to see more people interested. Otherwise, I don't know if it's really worth it. And I have, I'm seeing that because I don't talk about Nikki, that's where it is going. So yeah, I don't know. And another thing that it's very tiring for me talking into a phone uh, without being able just to just move around, right? Because when it's like being, I can't move around. I have to be perched like a bird, on my phone, just talking, on the on the phone microphone, and it's kind of like, oh, you become like really stiff, and I can't move around that much. So yeah, I'm thinking, I'm not sure I'm going to keep on with this. Maybe I will come up some other time, but I don't know. It has to have a reward for me, like totally like satisfactorily. I don't know, satisfactory, and it's just for a few guys listening to me now. So, um, and it's really a drag, making it on the phone. It's just I feel stiff in my body, I'm being totally honest with you because I am totally straight with you guys, that's me. And there were 4 peoples in the Beatles. Yeah. Yeah, we are the Fab Four. We are the Fab Four. Yep, definitely we are. Well, the four, the 5-4, the Fab Four. Yeah, but actually we are 5 right now if you count me. Yep. Essex says I'll take the drums. Yep. Martin says Radio 9 Gritty Talk with Gritty Astro, esoteric and stuff. Yeah, yeah, I actually thought about changing the name, and the wording maybe. Yeah, yeah, but and another thing that I thought, I'm not sure that a Latin American talking to you guys in the UK, is it like, does it work? Or was it just because of the Nicola Bully stuff? I mean, I love talking to you guys. I mean, waffling on for hours, about stuff I like. But it really has to have like this inspiration, this need for it, right? This purpose behind it. What would my purpose be for continuing this channel? That's the thing. Yes, I love waffling, but I can waffle, when I'm out with my friends and my family drinking wine, right? As being in a pub, waffling for hours and laughing and just rah, 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 like I love that. And I wanted to experience that in YouTube, to see how it was. I feel like I am in a pub, but without the wine. And you are the singer, I'm the keyboard. Martin led guitar. Yeah, we should make a band, right? Yeah, so I'm the singer, so me, Gritty, I am the singer. Unity is the keyboard. Martin is lead guitar, yeah, because he used to play in a wonderful UK band. He's a wonderful musician, so yeah, lead guitar, and and Essex takes the drums. I mean, that would be quite a gritty band, wouldn't it? Like, I imagine, like, yeah, the Beatles, the Who, yeah, like a foursome, yeah. Unity says research Tavistock, yeah, yeah. I did, you know, touch on it many years ago. Um, Maybe I will again. I don't know. I have so many things, Unity in my watch list. I have so many things because I'm always, looking for information on different topics that I love. Yeah, and I remember years and years ago, uh, people were talking on YouTube about Tavistock. I remember that. I think it was back in 2012, maybe, like a decade ago. Yeah, No Exit is a cool name. Yeah, that's quite kind of like a punk. No Exit. I found the low and a low one. Yeah, kind of like the Clash or the yeah, but I see it more as the Who, like more gritty. Yeah, I mean the Clash were gritty, right? Um, but yeah, more like Jefferson Starship. No, Jefferson Airplane, right? Or that the one, yeah, but I don't have such a that good a voice, to be. I'm not sure I'm that a great singer actually. um the sixth on is one is the producer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage No Exit. Yep. I like the name No Exit. It's very punk. But then again, you remind me of I found the low and a low one. I think Martin would have created more of a psychedelic name, but No Exit is like, wow, we're trapped here, the four of us. Oh dear. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Essex Boys. Yeah, Fleetwood Mac. Something like that. But with a little more grit, a little more, yeah, yeah, grittier, right? I like Fleetwood Mac. I mean, I actually love some of their songs. I mean, I like so many bands, but yeah, Fleetwood Mac's another good example. Yep. Research 432 kilohertz. Unity Collins says Jefferson Airplane, ECIA. Oh my god. Oh. The other day I was listening, on the radio. It came up from Jefferson Starship, the band that Grace Slick formed later on in the 80s, I think. Jefferson Starship, like, we built this city, bump, bump. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. I mean, I like that song, I remember when I was a child, I used to love it, and they played it on the radio. And I say to my kids, I used to watch out, I used to love this song, and they were like vibing to it. It has a good beat. I mean, Grace Leak has a really powerful voice. Um, yeah, she has a very good voice. Mm, mm. Yeah, and yeah, but I meant Jefferson Airplane as the foursome, weren't they, with a girl singing? Ritty Grag. How about Ritty Gastro? That sounds like a nasty, shitty restaurant. Like a bistro, like a shitty bistro. Martin says one of my band's albums was Arcane Rising. Should have called the band that. Yeah, yeah, Arcane Rising. That sounds very mystical. Again, like very you, Martin. You are like very mystical. and psychedelic. Synchronicity. Yeah, but that's synchronicity is actually Unity. Synchronicity is a really good name. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's beautiful. It's just simple. It reminds me of the Police album Synchronicity, but as a band's name, it's really beautiful. Synchronicity. Synchronicity is like just one word. I like it. The royalties will be rolling in soon. Yeah, sure. Oh, that's funny. That's very funny. So, and what would be our band's genre, or what music would we make? I mean, what genre? 60s, 70s, rock and roll, punk rock, psychedelic. What? I mean, pop music. What would our band look like? Martin says gastronity. No, 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 no. Gastronity. No, that sounds like a intestinal problem. No, no, no. Sync has already been used. Synchronicity. Oh, really, Martin? I love the name for a band. Psych folk rock. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised because synchronicity is a beautiful word. So yeah. I mean, pretty much, everything has been invented now, right? I mean, I'm sure if you think up any name now, chances are it's already taken, right? Celestine prophecy. I love that, Unity. Yeah, Celestine prophecy. Like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like, sounds like you know, apocalyptic, and but also like romantic. Like mystical, but also a little dark as well. Celestine prophecy, or celestial prophecy. How about Amerindians? Oh no, please, Ezek, no, 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 no. It sounds too ethnic. No, I like it to be more artsy, more like mystical, like yeah, more artsy. How about, yeah, I play electronic. Oh yeah, Unity. I know. Yeah, you play electronic music. Yeah, yep. I remember now. Um, yeah, what's your band name, Unity? Yeah, you're more into electronic music. Like, isn't it like Daft Punk style, isn't it? I don't remember. I think I listened to some of your music, Unity, that you had sent me once upon a time. Uh, YMCA. Yeah. What? Yeah. Or maybe, what about this? Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. What about like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or the other one, like Stills, Nash, Stills and Young. The band. What about our initials, like Crosby, Stills and Young, or Emerson, Lake and Palmer? What about that? Would be like our we could make a name with our names, right? Some of Unity's fans here. Distant Project. Oh yeah, Distant Project. So yeah. Yeah, I think that, for example, our initials will have like a cool vibe, like yeah, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I like that. That would be great. Like, you have Essex E, Martin M, Gritty G, and it's just who are the other one? And Essex. So we have E, M, U, and G. That's funny. How about Essex. How about the Essex Boys Outlaws featuring Richie? Yeah, right. Well, I'm always kind of like a, you know, featuring. Yeah, no, I'm much of a leader myself. I like to be in the name, like for good. Like be like if I was in a band, I would be like one of the founding members, or like Lennon McCartney type of thing. So yeah, I wouldn't like myself. As being featuring. I would be part of the band, of the founding members. Yeah. Uh, Unity says UCEBG book game. Yeah, I mean it's really like I mean you can play with words, right? You can take Unity, Gritty, Essex Boys, Martin. You have to have a think about it, right? GameCube, yeah, but GameCube is too like yeah, it sounds very electronic, and I like electronic music. I love Daft Punk, but yeah, if it was our band, it has to have like a more like a artistic slash mystical. I love what Unity says, celestial prophecy. That's quite interesting. That's interesting. So, no, no, no. It has to be like, you know, yeah, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or Crosby, Still, Nash and Young. I mean, that would be cool. Or like, remember the super band, Traveling Wilburys, with great musicians. Jeff Lynne from ELO, and Tom Petty, Roy Orbison, and George Harrison, and Bob Dylan, right? Yeah, what a band. They made quite a really good album together. And Jeff Lynne was the one who brought them together. Very, very interesting. Yeah, super bands. Super bands are, interesting as well. Well, it's 6 o'clock here, 6:10, 6:11 p.m. And I'm having a great time, but I think it's run its course now, and yeah, it's been a nice experiment. Probably I will keep uploading shorts, because shorts are quite nice, when I go walking on the beach and all that. Um, yeah, but whenever I feel like, I will be here. So yeah, I have to have a think about it. Um, yeah, it's something personal. And but you guys are really wonderful. Okay, I really want to thank you for being there, and let's see what fate has for us. For me in this case with the channel, I don't know. So I bid you a good night. Have a great, great Thursday, end of Thursday, and uh, try live explain the tarot gritty. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, the tarot. That's interesting, because I love that subject. I have to talk about topics I love. But it can't be just always just one subject, because that's kind of like, it's not me. I'm quite eclectic in what I like to talk about. So yeah, but yeah, maybe the tarot, the club's 27 I like. um Maybe some other conspiracy theories. Music, yep. Also, I haven't finished talking about the dark side of the 60s, which is very interesting. um I will make you listen to a tune called Darkened Garden. You will love it. It's my mom's fave. Okay, Unity. Yep. So great to see you guys, to be with you. and I will uh, good night, yo, yo. Yeah, Unity Celestial Prophecy. I love that. I love that name. Yep. So I bid you a very, very good night, and love you guys. God bless you. Until the next one.